Hi there. Today I've chosen to do a quick screencast for the assignment you see here in the background. After reading the Guiding Principles assignment, I thought I would show you guys how I try to blend my class, flipping type principles, and talk some successes and some struggles with that. Typical day in my class, my students will show up and they will have an opener on the board, something that looks like this, where they're able to work with some Iowa assessment type questions. And these are just some examples of some slides that are there. There's typically 8 slides per block, we call it. With the end, you'll see a little 6 or 7 question quiz. This is the answer key. But what I try to do with that is this is presented up on my smartboard, and the kids would have, when it comes quiz time, would have a Google quiz opened up, and here is that quiz. You can see it's just real simple, real basic. Question 1, A, B, C, D, 2, J, K, L, M. They take the quiz, they submit it, it's scored, and they get an immediate response what their quiz score was. I can, of course, check the responses here on this side. Also, you see, how the class is doing as a whole. 85% seem to understand question number 2, all 100% of number 3. This one did kind of pique my curiosity. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, just more than 50% got that right. So, I can switch back over to the quiz then and see what that question was and have a meaningful discussion with the class about why we happen to have missed that item. Another great place to check this is on the response side. You're always given the spreadsheet option, so I've got that open here. And again, I can see what the scores were for each of the kids and see what each of their answers were, and some discussions there. But that typically just the first 5 minutes or so of class, at which time we turn our attention to the actual lesson. For this one here, for this presentation, I'm going to show you. Let's see if I can find my book here. There we go. Chapter 7, Lesson 1 is the first lesson in our quadratic unit. We have 3 chapters going here, and so the first thing that comes up is just some defining degrees of a monomial and classifying polynomials. For this portion of class, I chose to make this face-to-face direct instruction. Typically, this is new information for the kids. I don't really want them to have to learn this portion on their own. However, there are parts of this I thought that they could take a look at home, and we'll get to that later. But so we spent a few minutes here doing the direct instruction portion, looking at the examples in the book. Again, you can see the examples with the answers. There's always this monitoring progress check, so we would get to that, and I would pop that open, as you'll see right here. Monitoring progress with the answers. Pop up a little window, ask the kids to maybe share out loud or write it down real quick, and then of course we can uncover each of the answers. Just real quick checks to make sure the kids are with me, before we move on. But the first 2 sections here, again, just kind of the direct instruction of the degrees of a monomial and then the classifying polynomials. I won't bore you guys with the details of the lesson, but so what I did then with this lesson is I went backwards and started with, went back to what we call the exploration. And here I had the kids grab their Chromebooks, and we went to a website called CPM Tiles. It's actually from technology.cpm.org, and the kids were allowed to kind of manipulate the algebra tiles as they saw being portrayed here in the exploration. And again, their essential question was, how can you add and subtract polynomials? So they have 2 explorations where the tiles are already out for them, and their job was to write the expression that went with each of those, both an addition problem here and a subtraction. And they have some knowledge with the algebra tiles. This was not the first day they had seen them. And then down at the bottom here, we had 4 problems, and I had them model each of those 4 problems in their small groups with the CPM tiles here. And then the next portion of the lesson was for the students to then, and they have an ebook, so they don't necessarily have to take the textbook home, but was to move to the next section of the lesson. So past the the degrees and the classifying is the actual meat and potatoes here, which is the addition and subtraction. Now you'll see the textbook is very traditionally set up with examples and solutions. But what their takeaway was for the night, their assignment was to read the rest of Lesson 1, but make a connection with the examples as they are written here in both vertical and horizontal format with the manipulation of the algebra tiles here. And since this is web-based, they have access to this at home, so they were encouraged to work through some of the examples with their algebra tiles. The interesting thing about the way that this is set up is there's still obviously plenty of opportunity for misconceptions and misunderstandings. Each of the examples comes with, what you see over here, a tutorial. So if I'm looking at example 4 and don't understand the vertical format, I'm unable to manipulate the algebra tiles correctly, the book comes pre-prepared with some tutorials. So I'm going to look for the example 4. Here we go. Example 4 tutorial, and what it'll do is it'll pull up a problem that looks like this, but different numbers obviously. They are quite boring, but they do give stepped out examples. I'll give you just a quick snippet of what that looks like.
Find the sum. Part A. The quantity 3x squared plus 4x plus 3 plus the quantity 2x plus 5x squared plus 1. Align the like terms vertically and add. 3x squared plus 5x squared equals 8x squared. 4x plus 2x equals 6x. And 3 plus 1 equals 4.
I won't make you watch the whole thing, but as we progress through the video, you'll see they do the second one with the horizontal method. So it's a nice opportunity for the students to apply their exploration of the algebra tiles in class, along with the reading of the written material here in the book, and a little extra example tutorial for them to look at to try and tie it all together. The next day in class then, as part of the flipping component here, the kids would come in and, having read through page 361, we get to the homework. Traditional homework would say, go ahead and take this home with you, get it done, bring it back tomorrow, we'll check the answers. But since we've already done all the pre-work, the kids come in and we give them the homework assignment. And with that homework assignment, now I am able to float the classroom, help with kids who are stuck on a certain problem, let them get together in small groups, work through as much of it as they possibly can in class. Now I make the assignment available two ways. There's the traditional paper and pencil way of doing the homework, or there is an online version as well, which I'll show to you here in just a little bit. The assignments size, they vary in range. Quite possibly, if the kids know exactly what they're doing, they'll get that done in class. If they do stump a little bit and get behind, it could end up a situation where I would tell them, hey, go ahead and finish this up at home. And you'll see there's kind of just the simple portion here at the front, but as it gets to the back, we start seeing some of the real-life applications, and that is kind of where the kids get stuck. So I really do like to have them work on that in class, so I'm able to be there with them, because I can't tell you how many times I've had parents tell me, hey, my kids are doing harder math than I ever did. I don't understand how to help them, so this is my way of trying to get them, the assistance in the classroom. A couple other nice benefits of the online assignment, if the kids choose to go that route, and let's see if I can figure out where that ended up here. Okay, so I kind of jumped ahead a little bit here, but this is my assignment page. And if I go to add an assignment for Chapter 7.1 here, let's just say for argument's sake I gave them all the evens. Like you can see, that's quite a problem. But here's the really neat component. Should they not finish the assignment in class, they are at home, they get stuck, stumped, can't dig their way out of it, mom and dad can't help, whatever. They have these options here that are really cool. Does need help? Okay, students are directed to sections from the textbook, lesson tutorial videos, which I showed you before. I don't know if the multi-language glossary helps my students much, but it could help some others. We have a live tutor option. You'll see as I remove that bubble here that the live tutor is available from 4 to 12, Sunday through Thursday. You'll also notice in there that it says they're only routed to that tutor for certain problems, and only after they have already visited one of the remediation links, which is very cool. This is also a neat feature here. I can give them a check answer limit. So let's say I want them to be able to check their answer once. They can do that. Now they know if they've got that problem wrong, they can reattempt that and again shoot for the correct solution there as well. Just for argument's sake, I'm going to close out of that for now and kind of jump forward now to the next day. When the kids come in, whether the work was done electronically or paper and pencil, whether they finished it in class or had to finish it at home, we obviously need to check their work. So we go ahead and we pull up the answer presentation tool here. Another neat feature of this is it just gives the kids a real quick opportunity to check their work, right or wrong. But let's say someone got stumped on, looks like I already uncovered number 28 there. So they 12r squared plus r minus 7. The students say, hey, I got that wrong. I'm not quite sure why. First layer of intervention here, we just pop this up, take a look, say, hey, here's your horizontal solution. Here's your vertical solution. Can you see where the mistake came? And of course, being available in class, then we can always build on any incorrect work right there on the spot. So, so after we went through the correcting of the homework there and making sure that everybody was where they needed to be. I chose not to give a quick assessment. However, I think that might be one thing that I could do differently in the future, is maybe pop in a little Google quiz real quick to do a quick check. But what we ended up doing on this particular day was we left 7-1 and moved on to 7-2. And 7-2 is kind of going along just the same way as what 7-1 is. And if I flip back over here, you'll notice that in Chapter 7, Lesson 2, we begin multiplying polynomials, and again, we have that exploration piece with the algebra tiles. So the kids were given the rest of the period to investigate multiplying polynomials using, again, their virtual algebra tiles, pulling them in and, using all the features, make it negative, turn it sideways. So, and then again, the rest of Lesson 2 will go very similar to what we did with 1. Ask them to do some pre-reading at home, watch the tutorials, try to make a connection between the exploration, the written examples, the verbal tutorials, and everything else. And again, the assignment will be given the following day in class. I'd be available to help facilitate the learning. And again, I anticipate very little direct instruction coming from this. Some things that I would consider differently, having done this a few times now, is I'm not having the most success with this being totally flipped. I find myself giving far more direct instruction than I'd like. The kids don't seem to be as latched to the videos and the at-home component of this, and I kind of maybe attribute that to the videos being really, really boring. So I think in the future I'll look for some more opportunities to find some more entertaining videos, if that's possible for some of you non-math people. Something else too that I've kicked around, but I know that there are legal ramifications to this based on age, is to maybe open up a Google Hangout where kids can chat after hours on some problems that they're struggling with and things of that nature. But in the meantime, I look forward to this course assisting me with this opportunity to not only blend my instruction, but also hopefully eventually flip my classroom so that it can be a full course offering for the next school year.